to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning all.
Morning.
Look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Amended agenda, excuse me.
I move to approve the amended agenda as printed.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Minutes for the 13th,
Motion to approve the minutes,
we have a motion
13.
Second.
and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. General public concerns,
That's what we're here for, is our concern about lateral.
well, is Rick in here? I'm gonna drag him in here to...
Please do.
Trish, did I hear his voice?
Which drainage ditch is that?
35.
35 lateral feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not here yet, but we'll listen again.
Don't have any more to say, other than just, if you'd follow up, sure would appreciate
We will.
it, and kind of let us know.
We will make contact, hopefully here this morning, and talk to the contractor and explain to him that time is of the essence because of the crop for next year and what it's planned to be, and your fears of having to wait through the summer again.
No, well, it's either they gotta get it done, or else that's gonna have to wait till the seed grows up, as far as I'm concerned, one of the two.
Right.
And get it fixed so the water that's coming through there now, because down at the bottom, it's opened up. They haven't closed it in, they haven't hooked it into the new tile, and there's only about a 12-inch hole for the water to come in through that 20-inch to get into, and so that won't work either, but,
Right,
so, something needs to be
all right.
taken care of.
I will make a couple of phone calls and, I'll get back to you, hopefully yet today.
John was wondering what they're gonna do with that sand that they sucked out. You know, it was just in a pile, that silt sand, you know, that plugged the tile.
When they brought that machine in,
Yeah,
it's just
what
sitting out in the
they're
middle of the
gonna do
field.
with that, because, they spread that out, that's not, you know, a good deal either.
I was down there yesterday, they worked over the weekend, kind of leveling things off and stuff. And it's all pretty black dirt over the top of it. It looks really pretty nice.
Oh, okay, good.
Like I say, they're doing a really nice job. It's just,
They aren't getting it fast enough to...
I know they got across the road
yeah,
Friday. We
just
hauled-
barely crossed it, yeah.
Yep, I said we hauled rock to them on Friday.
Bruce, I got a question.
Yes, sir?
It's been a long time since I've been on the board, so I remember all the nuts and bolts of self-funding insurance. But reading from 2 weeks ago, when county employees came and wanted half the membership to the rec center being paid by the county, there was something like $363,000 were in the pool of the self-funding, the county self-funding, and so there was a surplus, so they felt they could easily pay for that half a membership for the employees of the county. Like I said, if we got the surplus in the pool, has anything been done to cut the amount that is being taken out of taxes every year to cover the insurance? Or are we just continuing to build a surplus in the pool, for one thing? And the second thing is, I've talked to many businesses in town, and I've yet to talk to any business in town or company in town that is gonna pay for membership for their employees at the rec center. And is that another benefit that the supervisors are gonna give the county employees?
Well, now, I'm not sure if this is the way that it is, but the way it was explained was, part of it was, that's money that they paid for,
Saved it.
so
No, who's paid for it?
it's been taken out of their account, isn't it?
Because of better wellness and less benefits or less payments, we get a cheaper rate this.
Well, that's fine, but you already are getting that. So is being a member of the rec center gonna reduce that more?
That's hopefully what
That's
they're doing.
the hope.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just like any insurance, if you are
Healthier.
active and healthier, then your rates are gonna be better just by the simple token that you're not, like,
That surplus goes up and down too, depending on our loss rate.
Yeah, I understand.
And we
that.
happen to be at a high right now, so.
The other thing is, those that already have a healthy lifestyle are the only ones that are gonna be utilizing it. Those that don't are not gonna change their life habits to start going and attending.
and those that don't, won't be paid for.
This is,
This isn't
this
guaranteed
not,
for the entire group.
it's voluntary. So it's
Yeah,
not,
I still don't think it's another benefit that this county needs to give their employees. The pay, the insurance, the IFRS, all that stuff far exceeds what benefits people are getting at other businesses in this community.
ICAP, for example, pays theirs.
Well, there may be a few, I haven't talked to ICAP, but I mean, I've talked to other smaller businesses in the community, and I haven't talked to one that's gonna do that for their employees.
The hospital does too, or it does at the...
I just sat down at ISAC meeting this week, Gary, and this is a wellness program statewide run by ISAC, and they have all kinds of things like this. And they're paying a lot more money than we are. We need to do something to get our people healthy. And you're right, the ones that are healthy are probably the ones that participate, but we won't be spending money on it unless they go so many times a month and this kind of thing. So they have to use
And the ones that don't use it won't be signing up for it.
So if you get a reduction in your premiums from the wellness program, then you're gonna reduce the amount of taxes going into the insurance?
I guess,
it would hit the great grand circle of all that, it could potentially keep taxes
That's the
rates from
goal.
going up. It's to keep everything from going up.
Were you on the board when we got that program going? Our insurance goes up about 4, 5, 6% a year, and everybody else's go up to 16, 17, 18%. So
It was
that's one of the
shortly-
benefits that we've gotten to help our employees, because we participate in that insurance
Yeah.
program.
I can't remember, what year they started it, or maybe Peggy does, but I think we hadn't gone to self-funding. We were talking about it at that time, but it was shortly after that, in the mid-nineties, when the insurance premium started to
Yeah,
really
yeah.
jump, that we went to the self-funding, but I can't remember if we did before 94 or not, I don't know.
and Rick is on that board for the insurance, and he's not here today, as you see. But, I guess those are the questions, they talked with, is it Diane? Denise, excuse me, Denise, and checked with her, and she said that is done through quite a few different people. There are different counties so they didn't have any problem with us pulling part of that out, because basically it's money that we, the people, have paid into it anyway, out of their fees, right?
But how much is it, okay, so you're saying it's money taken out of their, the certain percentage you got now, is that the 10 and 15% copay that the county is covering?
No, everybody's assigned a fee, and then the county pays part of that fee, and the employee pays part of that fee. That goes
Like
into
I say, it's
partial
been
funding.
a few years since I was in the...
And we're constantly moving that fee up. The employees paying more and more of it. It used to be 100%.
Yeah,
It's not anymore.
no, I know, and that's been an improvement, and
Yeah.
it's still questionable whether that's where it should be.
Mhm.
Well,
That's all the questions I had, I just was...
It's really, as an incentive, let's say, it's not mandatory, it's not gonna be every last employee, and your comments are correct, unfortunately, that it's an incentive for people that probably would benefit by going to get healthier.
Because if they don't have it now, they're not gonna change.
Maybe this, if it's,
No, I mean, are you gonna start going out there and running or walking?
no, I already have my own exercise program, and I don't live in Humboldt. Now, if I lived in town,
I plan on...
or near town, I might take advantage of it.
Gary, I was at a meeting Thursday and Friday of this week, and ISAC runs an insurance program very similar to what our self-insured is. Theirs is self-insured. And they have a wellness program, and one of the benefits there, they pay $25 to go to lunch and listen to them speak about something. They pay $25 for a completion of an on-site screening. You get another $50, you take that screening results and go to the doctor. So there's $100 they give each employee just for They have all kinds of things we haven't even thought of yet.
And their goal through that is
We used to,
find something that, by the screening or whatever, that they aren't gonna pay in the long run
Right.
for a heart attack, and
right.
that's kinda like money up
And
front.
it comes back to help our work comp mod too, because you get PT healthy, they aren't gonna, we pay all the work comp claims.
And how much of that kind of stuff do you pay besides if you were paying the membership to the rec club?
We still have to pay the work comp claims, but hopefully go down.
None of those, Gary, we don't.
None.
Under our policy, okay.
We don't have those.
But the whole thing is,
Our modules
this
up
is
are
our
good.
sign up, and if I don't sign up for it, they're not gonna pull my part out of the, I can continue to ride my bike in my garage, or wherever I ride, work out, and it's just an option that we're trying to entice, or to get the employees to be active. And if they don't do it,
Can't force them.
we aren't gonna force them,
We're
but
gonna
by
try
the
it for
same
a year
token.
and see what happens, what it's not doing.
It's a trial thing.
Because I never saw anything in minutes or in motions, but I wasn't around last week, so.
Okay,
We'll see what happens.
Mr. Ben, I'm looking. We're 9 minutes late because of you again.
I know. One of these days I'll-
Well, they did a good job of polishing the ice over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, that was, I don't know, first storm's always kinda suspect, but it was, I know it was that way all over Webster and Wright. I mean, we got more than the dusting they were calling for, and it switched to 1 to 3, which turned to freezing rain about 9 o'clock Friday night, and everything was ugly.
All ice underneath.
We got some sunshine called for, I think, the next 3 days, so hopefully it'll start popping and we'll
It will.
be able to...
We're gonna hold you to that too.
Sunshine?
Yeah.
Yeah, not warm temperatures, not until Thanksgiving, but...
I guess we take what we get, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
What do we have here?
I have, approved plans and specifications for next year's paving projects. First project is, it's a long title, it's TVG-swap-CO46, parentheses 72. Basically, it's P33 from Rutland to Bode, 7 miles of paving.
I don't see anything in there under weather requests.
I don't know, I'd have this job if I could request weather and get it to...
Yeah, well, after last year's fiasco on
Paving.
849, we gonna get anybody that wants to even come to Humboldt County?
You know, my hope is, last year we had some really competitive bids. I hope we get the same competitive bids this time around, and hopefully, the traveling public stays off of it while it's fresh.
Yeah,
That'd be,
we post our signs and people abide by them, and
Yep. Yeah, that would be great.
we should have the ability to change the blinking light to date, because we learned how to do that, what, 5, 6 times?
Quite a bit, yeah.
How many miles is this project?
This particular one is right at 7 miles. Project estimate, which I didn't
So
include
that
with you
north
guys,
from
but-
Barb's, McDonald's corner there,
Mhm.
straight into the Bode?
Straight north into Bode, yep. And the last, couple hundred feet in Bode, we are switching, that'll be asphalt. Basically where they've got all their manholes and everything, we'll be stopping. I think it's 200-300 feet south of the intersection,
because of,
just to be able to tie into it, to tie into the existing pavement without raising it too much. The manholes that are inside city limits,
essentially stopping at the city limits, give or take.
the acreage on the west side, he's got a fence line, and I believe we're stopping right at the fence, so it's just the last couple hundred feet.
When do you plan to go to bid for this?
The DOT plan, bid letting is February.
This is gonna be white top.
This will be, yep, 5 inches of white top, 3-inch mill and 5 inches of white top.
Does anybody have a concern with the, I understand why they would want maybe the asphalt because of, manholes and such, but you know, there's obviously why, it's gonna be a great project, 'cause there's a lot of traffic on that road. Is that gonna be a concern, breaking up, you know, versus, or?
Shouldn't be.
It's gonna be new,
We've
correct?
done, yeah, and we've done, PC projects where it switches to asphalt,
Mhm.
specifically going into Thor, switches over to asphalt, and then going into Hardy from the west. Both of those switch over into asphalt.
This is gonna be a new asphalt?
Yeah, we're gonna mill out and put new asphalt in.
Okay. And obviously, you're replacing an asphalt road,
Mhm.
the whole road, so.
You see some of that on DOT roads even, they go from asphalt to concrete to asphalt to concrete,
Yep.
in a 20-mile period.
Well, and that way we're not changing elevation inside city limits where people have paved driveways.
Well, how does that tie through the Bradgate Blacktop, 'cause that was done a few years back, so they just pull up?
We'll tie right into the
Tie in.
concrete. Yep. We'll mill a header on either side and tie right
That's
into
what
the
I wanted.
concrete.
Perfect.
And then this project is also tied with, the next one that I've got for approval, which is, the farm-to-market route from Hardy north to, the county line, which is right at about 6.5 miles.
So that's the Laverne Blacktop, goes over 17?
It's P66 is Utah Avenue,
Right.
straight north, that runs up to the Laverne Blacktop, yeah.
And that would be bid, excuse me,
Bid
the
at the
same
same
time?
time, yep.
February, the same?
Yep, we'd tie the two together, so we'd be right at about 13.5 miles of paving, so we should be able to get pretty good interest from everyone.
What was the length of the mileage of the?
C-49,
Yeah.
11. That was 11 miles.
This is over 13.
So this is 13.5, yep. We found that when we bid, bigger projects with more miles, that we get a more competitive price and more bang for our buck,
Makes
basically.
sense. Yep, that'll be good.
Yep.
So that you just need the approval for the
Approval for the plans, for the plans and specs. yeah.
Right on the same problem, then. Right during planting season, they wanna do it, or right during harvest season. No matter when you do it, it's not right.
Yeah, I mean, depending on who the contractor is,
Yeah.
if it's Manats, they seem to like to move in and do our project right off the bat. So there's a chance that it could interrupt, planting season. Usually the DOT gives a flexible start date for these projects to allow the contractors to be able to bid it competitively and move projects around as it fits their schedule.
Can't be too demanding, or they get you on the bid price.
Right.
On the other side, though, if it was that company you named last year, they went over there and above, making sure that people had access, letting them know that we're gonna be next mile, trying to keep, didn't they have even golf carts?
Yep, they
Those Manat?
they had golf carts and side-by-sides
Yeah.
available for all the people that live on the route. People that live on the route will be getting letters here, probably by certified mail, to let them know that this project is upcoming, and that, when the project starts, they'll need to park their vehicle at the closest gravel road, and we'll provide transportation to get them from their house to the gravel road. You know, and like we said, it's roughly 3 days of inconvenience for the next 30 years of pavement.
All right, that's our goal anyway.
That's our goal, yeah.
So you don't see anything questionable at this point then, Ben?
I don't.
This, everything, you've looked through this, everything is good?
Yep, I've gone through the plans, everything looks good. Like I said, rough cost estimates are, about 1.5, 1.6 million for, the Rutland to Bode Road, and right around 1.4 for, Hardy North. Price comparisons that we've looked at lately show, 5 inches of concrete running right at around $210,000 a mile, and asphalt's right in the $175,000 a mile for 3 inches of asphalt, so.
And the life expectancy of both is
20 years for asphalt, 30 years for concrete.
So we're getting
So
10.
you get an extra 10 years for that, 25,000 a mile.
Now, I'm just,
And 2 extra inches.
Yeah.
for mine, the guy that drives it most of the time in crappy weather, I don't like the white top, 'cause it doesn't take the heat, and, you know, it doesn't, you know, that road going out of Badger where they put nice fresh blacktop, yeah, Saturday afternoon, it was slick. By the time I left Eagle Grove and came back, the sun was out and that, popping that stuff loose. The white top, and constantly get that phone call, why isn't, well, we are, but it just doesn't get the heat, and it takes a little longer for it to, but we are.
And asphalt pops the first couple of years while it's still fresh and black, but then
Yeah.
eventually it fades to a grayer color and it's less effective as well.
Right.
Yeah, there's, nothing's perfect,
No.
but the longevity for the price differential, it's hard not to use the...
And then it's also the maintenance of it.
So much
you know,
less.
We're not crack filling the concrete roads near as often.
It's just so much, longevity is the big thing.
Right.
These need to be made in separate motions?
You asked this lady,
It looks to me like it's all in one plan.
tied together?
Yep.
Well, then I would make the motion to approve the plans and specifications for the paving projects as stated, STBG, SWAP, C 04672, FG 46, P33 from Rutland Abode, and the FMC 04671, 55, 46, P66 from Hardy North to the county line.
Now second that.
We have a motion and a second, any other discussion? And that date will be set by the DOT, right?
February 19th.
February 19th, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried.
Other than that, I know we talked a little bit about the bridge on Highway 3. They're still making progress, and hopefully they get their rails poured and guardrail installed, and I think they were talking about doing any dirt work they had left on open traffic. So, we need the snow to melt and be nice days of weather. The Pox Culvert up by Eric's, they've got the whole west line set last week. This morning they should be dewatering the area and, digging the east abutment out. Doing their class 20 and setting the east line for that.
Appears to be coming along pretty well.
Yeah, now that the contractor's here, he's really flying. He
Yeah,
doesn't
they
mess
really
around.
are after it, I mean...
So, hopefully, by the end of next week, we've got things starting to shape up pretty well.
I would think so. I would really think so.
What's the,
The one south of,
Marty, or
the one
Thor,
south
excuse
of
me.
Thor, we got the rock brought all the way up to the road surfacing right now. He's got, some dirt work to do, as well as placing some riprap on the four corners and extending a couple of tile. But there's a chance by the end of this week, he'll be moving all of his equipment over to, P29 to the Clare Road.
so are we responsible for them old stuff? Do they haul that away, or what do they do?
They haul that away, the old structures that they're running into, yeah. Yep, they haul that away, which on this project by Thor, we did run into, the old abutment that was supposed to be removed in 38 when they switched from a small narrow bridge to that 5-foot pipe that they had.
Did they do anything on that tile just south of town? I see they were...
Yes.
Machine sitting there.
Brandon fixed, what it was I think it was a 12-inch steel culvert that ran under the road that was all rusted out in the bottom. So it was washing right up to the edge of the road. So I met with Brandon out there, we hauled a load of rock out for bedding, and we put a new chunk of 12-inch to extend it out.
Have you heard anything? We seem to have a lot of digging going on.
We do.
On that north, what is it, 230th? I see they were Mid-America or Midland was out there with their truck holding the pole in place, and I see
Nels Pedersen.
Pedersen was out there, and they had quite a large pile of dirt, but then the next day, the power truck was there, and so I didn't know if they got it fixed, or if they contacted you.
I haven't heard from them. I guess nobody's called me yet, asking for any extra dirt or anything for that project. But, yeah, last time I drove by, the machine was just sitting in the field.
Right. Well, the only reason I know is my son-in-law works for Midland, said that they'd requested the truck out there, so they were on call to hold the pole while they tried to do that repair, so hopefully they can get that buttoned up before.
I'd say before snow flies, but...
You've already messed that up.
Yeah, I screwed that up.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
that's all I had. Hopefully we can
take
get
your
done.
magic pixie dust, and I guess you'll let us know on the 19th what, I don't,
How our business...
my new calendar, what's the 19th?
It's on a
Is that
Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday?
Yep. Yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds good. And then I'll just come back and pick those up, 'cause...
We all have to sign it.
Yeah, everybody's got to
Just
sign them.
the top one, right?
No, there's 3 sets of each one.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
Allison.
So,
Well, somebody had, the election results.
Ben, do you get up there and look at the project?
Or a pin up, didn't we?
Yeah.
With the link, I mean, have you been up and looked at that at all?
Morning, no.
Well,
I was out there Friday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gary, have you posted?
I've been making trips out there every day.
Park your motorcycle for the winter?
Thanksgiving this week.
Well,
You get
it isn't until I open the garage door, and then it will go again.
Thursday and Friday.
Everybody
Friday
had
off.
December, January last year.
They aren't gonna have it done by the end of the week, but sometime we'll
Morning,
catch up
Allison.
when we come up there.
Yeah.
Morning. Just like to touch base with you.
oh,
Yeah.
No, they seem to be doing good.
We hope you have good news for us.
Yep.
It is, yeah, it's an update. Good news after Tuesday. Tuesday was
I mean,
a
no,
tough day.
listen, I'm not gonna tell you.
You're in the hot seat.
I gave them, I gave them my mom's number, because he's already said he goes...
I don't know how hot it is, but I guess we're...
Hotter than it is out there,
Yeah,
that's
it
for
is.
sure.
So, we got good news, we got better news than what we anticipated, or we...
Well, I just thought I would kind of update you. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the messenger lately, but I've been
Sounds good, then.
sending the messenger quite readily. It's been kind of a rough journey with everybody determining where they're gonna go in terms of, are they gonna leave the CSS region? And so with that said, as of right now, it looks like we're going with still 22 counties. We looked at losing Winnebago, Worth, and Hancock, and Cassuth to the northwest, Kim Wilson's region. But because Cassuth has not paid the allocated amount, I think it's, when we actually went through, to step back a minute, we went through mediation with Cassuth County. And what they came up with, because they didn't levy the correct amount, is they're short about $200,000, and they don't even have it in their fund balance because they didn't levy the correct amount. They owe us, I think, what is it, about 400
300 and some.
Yeah, $1,000. So they are not able to go to a different region because they wouldn't accept them, obviously, with the debt based on our 2080 to CSS. So with that said, to follow the contingency rule of having to touch counties, WHW also received a letter from Kim Wilson saying that they were not able to be accepted at this time. So one county, Hancock, went ahead and withdrew their application to leave the region. Winnebago, Worth, and Cassuth did not, but if they do not have somewhere to go by 7/1, then it leaves DHS up to appoint them, which we don't know because nobody's ever done this before, but we're assuming they would just stay with CSS, or they can withdraw at any time through the year, and that's what I would assume they would do. Then we thought Cerro Gordo was going to leave, and we came in and had a letter signed, and the letter actually worked. Cerro Gordo withdrew after they received it in CICS, and decided to stay, so that didn't affect the other 4 counties that signed that letter. So that was a good thing, but then Webster kind of threw a monkey wrench in the ordeal.
Amen.
Supervisor Zode was not very, very happy, neither was
I don't think
myself.
he's ever very happy, so don't take it the wrong
Yeah,
way.
yeah, well, him and I weren't happy knowing that, we hadn't even had prior knowledge that it was gonna be put on the agenda that day, until the agenda came out, that they were looking, we'd had discussion, but there really wasn't a reason why they wanted to leave, so, I had very little bit of time, but I did get about, I think it was 8 providers to come in and talk about the good things that we're doing with CSS, why to stay with CSS, and what we're looking at trying to go, forward with our access center and some of those really key points that we want to develop over here in the western quadrant. So I just figured, since there's been a lot of media coverage that we've had, I figured I'd better let you guys know what's going on, and,
Appreciate that.
our district's not, Lincoln Land is not the only ones having problems.
No.
I was down in Des Moines the other day, and they was trying to get Woodbury's leaving their district and going south. Everybody just, kinda like we did with Cassuth, wanted to get out. Same problem. There's always a black sheep in every group.
Right, and Woodbury's actually been trying for almost 2 years now, and what's ironic is Woodbury was in a region with, I wish I had the map, I don't, it was with, Sioux and Plymouth, and so Sioux and Plymouth were actually gonna join that same region that, Cassuth, Winnebago, Worth, and Hancock were. So Kim was gonna go from, I think, 6 counties to up to 13. Well, now she actually lost one because Lyons was frustrated that they were gonna add all of these other counties. So up here, so this was the region that, boy, you have scribbled on this thing, haven't you? That, where are we at here with Cassuth? That Cassuth was gonna go, and then these were gonna go over here with Kim Wilson's region, and then Woodbury's actually joining Rolling Hills. But Lyons became frustrated adding additional counties, so they actually voted to go with these 2. They were able to stay in their own region because they don't have to follow the new rules of 100,000 population. So they actually lost a county because they didn't want to have anybody else join their region. A lot of regions are just happy with what they're at, and they see kind of the adversity that comes in when new counties join. So ironically, that region went down to only 5, and they originally thought they were going to have 13 going into fiscal year 19. So
this is my question, I've been asked by several people on the, in town, because of the articles in the Fort Dodge paper, and everybody's worried about our ability to get people help. So, they're worried about the guy over there that's getting coffee leaving, and all of a sudden then we're gonna throw somebody new into, and whether it's one of us or who would take that position. What's your feelings on,
on taking care of people, we're gonna continue to do that. We were concerned if we were gonna be left with just, with Sarah Gordo leaving, what would we do with our 4 counties, which one would we join? Or could we stay with CSS was the question. Well, now that's not an issue anymore, so that's nice. At least that wouldn't be an issue till July of 2020. In the event that next year, by November 15th, that's the deadline for a county to identify a letter to withdraw out of their 2080 agreement, so we have clear total.
but I guess my feelings are, you're still here working for Humboldt County as well as for all of these other counties.
Correct.
So that we aren't,
Oh, yeah.
the news that Carl's retiring.
Oh.
Ain't on her.
I know, that's what I'm
You
saying, and
guys.
that's,
Well, that's okay, you're not the worst person we deal with, by the way.
that, they said, well, what about, we aren't just gonna be, no, we aren't just getting thrown out the door. We still have our foot firmly planted,
Sure.
we're covered. Sometimes it seems like, with the mental health issues, that it's a kind of a catastrophe.
Well,
But-
it is on all levels, federal, state, county levels, just with trying to be able to take care of people with the budget cuts, with the short number of individuals. We are, and it's kind of nice now that we've gotten our budget, we were about $2 million over budget, and we went into the first quarter of this fiscal year at 23% of our budget. So that's gonna give us roughly by the end of the year, we probably should have about $2.5 million extra out of CSS if we stay on the same track that we're on, which allows for the fact that the western quadrant, my 6 counties, we're only 14% of that original $18.5 million budget that we're utilizing over here. And so we are the area that they're going to ramp up, which is why we're looking at trying to build this access center. I'm getting to hire 2 more staff. I've posted a position in the Humboldt paper. It'll be in the Pocahontas, Cassuth, and Emmett, so I'm going to hire 2 staff to cover those areas. which additionally I did not have prior to that. We didn't have anybody directly of a employee of record out of Pocahontas County. So it'll be kind of nice to have a little more feet on the ground rather than just myself and my 4 others
I
for
was
that
gonna
large
say, so
area.
what area are you covering, how much?
So I have the western quadrant, so I have Emmett, Cassuth, Humboldt, Wright, Pocahontas, and Webster as the administrative role. And I have 2 staff, well, actually I have a case management staff, because I also oversee the case management. We kind of kept 2 staff in there, and we cover 26 counties. And I have a staff in Webster County, and I have a staff in Cerro Gordo County, and then I utilize Dee Stern as the office support for that role. And then, in addition to that, we have Donna Nielsen, who's out of Cassuth, and I'll be looking at hiring a full-time out of Emmett and Pocahontas. Then we also have Kathy Erickson, who is the mental health advocate for, Pocahontas, Humboldt, Wright, and Webster County. Then I have Brittany Baker and Sarah Feldman, who are employees out of Webster County that come up and cover this area. And then we also have Jen Sheehan from Wright County, who does the jails. And then we have 2 support staff, so.
Well, that might be, and I'm just throwing a little hint to someone that there's a lot of people nervous about, and maybe that would be an opportunity for us to get a little publicity as to who and how we are covered, Humboldt County has.
What I could do, what I did in Webster County is, I brought the Western Quadrant to Webster County for them to meet everybody in their roles and what they do, and they kind of explained where they're at. Because I think you guys have a good grasp, but I think where we struggle with, at least originally with Webster, and of course Supervisor so gets it, is that it's not just Webster County that is my level of responsibility.
Right.
That my role is the same for every single county. I have that, I have that same, you got, every board expects the same thing from me.
And you're here about 1 day a week, it seems to me.
Employment of record. Yep, I'm here, Humboldt's probably a little bit luckier, I'm here probably maybe 2 days a week.
Okay.
Webster, Pocahontas, and Emmett have been the counties that are probably the most lean that we've been on for staff. But what we do have is we have a system set up where if somebody calls a number, it gets automatically dispatched to me. And then we send a team member out, and we have certain office hour times. What we did when we went with this pivot and we had to reduce staff, we took like a spreadsheet and determined how many walk-ins and how many things in which office had the most need. So that's how we decided how many full FTEs out of each office we were gonna operate. And it's really nice here because we do have a full-time staff. We have Dee Stern here.
Good.
Which is really great. Pocahontas does not have that. We're working on doing that, but then that would be a position that I would determine then to dispatch, depending on where the need is. Because sometimes we'll have, I'll use Pocahontas and Clarence as where we'll go 3 weeks and there won't be a walk-in in Pocahontas. So then we determine that need, and if there is something, then we send somebody over there that might have been from a different office. So going forward, the plan is that we'll have additional staff. We'll actually have staff in every office, so that will be nice. We also have an iStart person that runs the iStart program. That is for people with developmental disability, and then they also have mental health, and she covers the Western Quadrant as well. So, but yeah.
But all in all, in a nutshell, Humboldt County, we have our,
Yep.
everything's in order. Carl's done an awesome job explaining, trying to keep us in the loop. And I guess long story short, somebody's gonna have to take your place on that board when you retire, and I guess we're just gonna have to figure it out and probably wade into that. To some of the, it takes a while to learn what we're doing in a meeting, and that, to me, is just
That's what,
scary.
it is, MHDS is a lot different than any other, because most things are done on that local level. This is kind of the first regionalization program, that the state has started, and so it is a lot to learn, a lot to understand. And we're gonna have a lot of new board members again this year, as well, so then that kind of creates a different level where people who are used to it. What I would suggest is that whoever is interested in planning on being on our board, we do have a stakeholders meeting on the 28th in Wright County. So that is where all the providers from the region attend. And we kind of identify what we're going in direction with those services. And then we also have a board meeting on December 5th. So that would give them a chance for me to come with Carl and see what we're actually doing and what we're about, and kind of get that main grasp
Supposed to be introduced by Carl
Yes,
to
plus, yes,
CG,
that
able
would be
to
ideal.
let them know that if he's willing to do that, if he's not, we're gonna pull his credentials.
I'm not gonna give him a choice, how's that, right?
Yeah.
I've already kinda discussed that with him, I think the importance of that.
Well, I do too, and he's talked to us about it, but I just wanted to go public and make sure that people know that,
Nothing is changing with Carl, we did that, 2 years ago, we ran through, a lot of new board members, I think we ended up with 9 new board members, and everything stays the status quo in terms of the county being taken care of.
Jerry was one along before me,
right?
Jerry Heavily, so I just,
Jerry was actually our,
the chairperson.
yeah, he was our chair of our board.
But when you think about that, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, feels like it's over your head, and that's a little scary for,
You know, CFR's going through the
yeah.
same crap, I mean, same
That's a whole
dilemma.
nother level.
It's a different, same scenario though.
Yeah, and that's one of those deals that we're trying to get out of the, you know, sometimes we feel like the water's pretty muddy, and I think we're making headway. Somebody's come back to the table anyway,
Yeah.
so.
You know, record of employment seemed to be a problem in our area, has that been calmed down any?
Oh, with the possibility of the fiscal agent?
Yeah, fiscal agent.
As of right now, what they're looking at possibly doing is going to that one record of employment. It's not been voted on by the board, and so what we're entertaining, we actually were to have a meeting, on Wednesday, but it was canceled by Paul Groth. He's kind of the HR consultant that the county hired. He had to cancel, but we're looking at just coming up with some possibilities, for HR, and then looking at going forward. I know that it's not been very exciting for anybody to, at least staff-wise, will lose benefits, it might cost us more money, what will affect our vacation, will we have a PTO rather than what the county sets up? Those are the major concerns that all the staff have, with going forward with this record of employment. Nothing has been set in stone, nothing has been determined yet, it's just been a conversation, and they voted to just entertain the idea and come up with some information. If they were gonna implement this, this would be implemented, though, starting, fiscal year coming up in July, so we don't know where that's at yet, but I know we'll probably have more meetings in January, and I can update you on that status as we go
Move
along.
forward.
So that'd be about our next real big update is after the first of the year.
Yeah, yep, I would say, I don't think we're gonna have too much in December. December's always kind of busy. We normally don't have a board meeting, but because we had so many things going on, we decided to go ahead and have a board meeting and then do the stakeholders meeting, in November. I'm hoping that we can start to look at, doing some of the information for the Access Center. Once legislatures get back in session, we can determine what the rules are gonna be, for those developments, because that's gonna be a real important key.
December meeting's in Allen McKee County, right?
It's
Way the heck up
we're
there.
way up there, yeah.
That's a great place to head in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We never get back.
Don't you ever tell them that maybe you should
Not
go
a
south
straight,
towards
not a
the
straight
equator?
road in the county.
No.
They went around, we've had it in Humboldt once.
Yeah, well, we rotated, we go
Yeah.
through the alphabet, so we're back on A's, and then it'll be Butler, and then Cerro Gordo, and, yeah, you kinda plan. Yeah, that's probably the longest drive, other than maybe Tama. When we go down to Tama, it's quite a jaunt too, so.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate both of your hard work and your effort trying to keep us informed and trying to,
Those quadrants are something new, and we didn't have those very long ago, and I think it's working out, communication-wise. Used to try to do it from 22 counties, now we got it broken into 4 areas. Works a lot better.
It keeps things consistent rather than having each individual. At first, I wasn't necessarily thinking it was gonna be the best idea, just kind of, and then after we've actually implemented it, we'll fully have it implemented. Basically, December 1st is kind of when we started it, and mainly January is when we really got after it last year, so we'll just be in it for the first year, going forward. Another thing too, that, I didn't have the opportunity, I wasn't aware until I read it in the paper, because I thought, well, who the heck did this? I called Carl when, we had the resolution signed for the stepping up. You guys did that a while back, and so I was actually gonna come and identify that, and Carl was ahead of me there, so that was good. And with that, what we're gonna look at doing then is asking Humboldt, and probably Pocahontas is next on my agenda to get signed, to go with Webster. We already have a stepping up meeting, and we'll try to kind of rotate it, and that's where we're working on jail diversion, and so we bring law enforcement in, and we offer some, like CIT trainings, we offer some first aid and mental health trainings.
Because one thing that this community has done really, really well is, I work really well with Sheriff Kruger, and I do a lot of phone calls, rather than having individuals be taken in or arrested if they do have a mental health. I go out, especially since I'm local here, it's easy for me to go out and kind of stop some of that and try to help them and assist in those situations. And they've really been on board. In fact, we're there quite a bit. And then going into the jail for that transition home. So going further with that stepping up, that's where everybody kind of gets together and we come up with some kind of innovative and neat ideas to try to prevent that, because of course that is the increase in the jail, so.
Right.
Excellent.
Well, we appreciate it very much.
I look forward to hearing from you in January sometime.
All righty. Anything else? Okay.
No, thank you for stopping in.
Sure. And I'll make sure that I don't know, did you get the agenda for the 28th?
Not yet.
Bob's on vacation this week, so I reminded him to try to get it out, so I'll make sure that you get that.
It wasn't there yesterday, anyway, I haven't looked this morning.
Okay, I better call him and bother him. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you will, all right.
He will.
Bye.
Okay, we have a couple of items at the bottom. We're looking for a motion to appoint our weed commissioner that has, he was first to stand up and say he would gladly do it.
I move we
Let's-
appoint
let's-
Craig Underberg as our weed commissioner for the county, effective immediately.
Is there any type of hat that you have to wear?
Not, literally, but,
Well, Kent wants a picture of you with your weed.
no, I don't have a weed commissioner hat, but
We
it
have a
seems...
motion on the floor, if you want
I'm
to
sorry.
second first.
We have a motion
I'll second it.
and a second. Now we can give
Now
it
you
a
can-
bit of time.
Well, it's just that, like, some things you just get into de facto, and, part of it, I think, if not all of it, was because of my good relationship and our county's good relationship with, Don Reefer of the Weed and Brush Control. So, it's just been a real good thing. I think we've got a very good program. And the technicality of it is, as Don was wrapping his business up for this year, that you do need to have a weed commissioner's report every year to the state, to IDAL's, Department of Agriculture. And so somebody's gotta be able to sign off on the report. It's really more of a technicality, although I do expect that, I'll hear complaints on weeds, and obviously the county and myself will continue to work with Don to, keep our weed control program up to speed. And so I'd say it's just kind of a technicality more than anything.
I think Gary could be a natural in it, working with Don a lot, and you had interest in that area anyway.
Well, I am familiar with weeds and beavers, so I don't know if I have any expertise past that, but that seems to be two big things in this part of the country.
We'll make you animal control officer.
No, you won't. No, I'm gonna stick beavers, I draw the line at beavers and drainage ditches, Dave. That's as far as I go.
All right, well, we have a motion and a second for his appointment on the Humboldt County Weed Commissioner, so is that just gonna be like a year-to-year deal, we'll have to reappoint, or is that?
You can make it.
Could be a
however
life
you want it to
sentence.
be. Yeah,
All right, well, we'll start out that way.
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You have it, hands down, motion
Well,
carries.
thank you, and you have to I'm gonna sign this, and you're gonna sign this, and then Peggy's gonna send this report in.
Okay.
Because, as Don informed me, this used to be January 1st, now they've moved it to December 1st, so that
We
we...
are sliding in right under the...
Yep, and this report is filled out to the information that the state requests, so if we will sign this and send it off, then they should be good to go.
We now have, Peggy has on here approved wine permit for River Valley Orchard and Winery pending dram shop insurance.
As of Thursday, when the agenda went out, they did not have their dram shop. I received an email over the weekend that says they do now have it.
So everything else is in order?
Everything else is in order, yep.
We do
Motion to
have,
approve it.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do you have any other details that,
No, I don't,
awesome.
yeah.
Looks like we can go to our committee reports, and then we'll probably just have to go to limbo for...
Can I ask a question, just general knowledge, just before I hand you this report? Peggy, do you know, because there's one question here I didn't know for sure. Did your county publish a notice of program for weed control pursuant to the provisions of Title 8, Chapter 317, Section 317.14?
Only if the weed commissioner put it in the newspaper, because we don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a requirement, they're just asking, but I said
Then
no.
I would
said
assume
no.
there would not have been.
I said no. Not per se.
We used to.
Can you elaborate on what was in that then? Well, how was it worded?
Boy, it's been a while since
Ah.
I've looked at that, but I do remember seeing it. It talked about what types of weeds, that the weed commissioner took care of. I can try to see if I can find
If you,
an old
well,
one.
at some point in time, come across that,
Yeah.
because I think as we get closer into spring and summer of next year, we might want something published to call their attention to, because right now, in the program, the way that's set up, the tougher weed, and it's listed as giant ragweed, but it's so sporadic that it's literally a spot spray program. And Ben and the guys have been really helpful, and we did a really good, where they were noted and sprayed, it worked awesome, and they did a great job, but it's the fact that if you can tell them, go here, here, and here, it's very cost effective. You really can't afford to pay them to drive around the whole
Right.
county looking for giant ragweed. So, we can pay Ben to drive around the county and look for giant ragweed, but anybody, so I think if the public knows that and we get a specific location, it will make our weed control program work that much better and remain cost effective. So, I'm gonna say that was no, but we'll probably put something out, just a reminder before next summer. I'm already pencil eraser.
We're on committee reports, are you back for something you forgot, or?
No, I was just gonna let you know, and I don't know if I do it on camera or off camera, something I saw in the paper last week.
Do it in drainage.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
Anyway, I got a text from Ryan Saturn the other day. He said that he saw Mr. Myers was in the paper, Summit County. I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't know if
The guys the other end of the table then,
he's heard
I
about it.
signed it,
you got the papers.
Bruce signs it, send it off to Adele.
$56
They're happy.
Right.
Thank you.
$56 and taking us small claims for $56, okay. That's what I assumed, but,
It is,
I did.
it's true.
Okay.
Rick got the papers,
okay,
because he evidently was the one that went out there, so.
okay. That's what I assumed when I got the text, but I just wanted to double check.
Oh, yeah, $56.73
Yeah.
for a post.
Most of you guys offered to write a check for that. We're going to small
I
claims.
didn't.
Yeah, Bruce might settle it out for you.
We'll leave that
I
up.
did, so I went and looked at the post,
You
and
bet.
took a picture of it, and they said it's
Principle of the
ridiculous.
matter,
Well,
rather
he-
than amount.
When he came in here and you guys had said that, you know, that you'd take care of the $56, he had showed you a picture of his old post.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It wasn't what was
No.
currently out there.
No.
Right.
So if anything, he was deceiving.
Yep.
Well, and that's, I think what Rick's feeling for is, when we go, it shouldn't be a big squabble, so.
Not going to Supreme Court, I don't think.
Ben, would you like your official signed
Yes.
copies back?
Yes.
Rick signed those as well.
All right, perfect.
They just got them fresh off the press.
All right.
Thank you
Have a good
again.
week.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks.
You ready for me?
I'm,
I'll spend
sounded
about
like you had plenty of
30
meetings.
seconds, 30 seconds. I
Okay.
spent Thursday and Friday most of the day in Des Moines, and we talked about ISAC things. We went over the scholarship money we made last year in the golf meetings, the golf outing and selling lottery tickets. Anyway, $20,000 was awarded to the scholarship winners, and announced who they were, and Peggy, you had to hand those out. We had pictures of you giving those out. And, we
Was
have...
that a good number? Is that what they usually give is?
We used to get more than that, but
That's what-
20,000 we got in reserves in case we get rained out next year, we still have a scholarship fund. So we got enough to do the same next year even if we get rained out. So that was one
Do
way,
we have people that apply for Humboldt County?
anybody who's got kids in high school
That's
that
what I
works for
wondered,
the
but
county.
do we have people in Humboldt County? Because I've, in the
We
3
have
years
had
I've
in the
been down,
past.
that's what I was...
I'm not
They're
sure
giving word
if
that
they're
they're-
at the age now. you know, that we
All
don't
right.
have any kids.
I just was curious.
They should, because they get a good
Yeah.
chance.
Mhm.
Okay, we had financial reports, we went through the audit, and that's always really exciting, we spent about 2 hours on that. And we have a lot of different accounts, we have an insurance company within ISAC, it's larger than what we have, our self-funded thing. There's millions of dollars involved there. And one of the things we talked about was the wellness program, which I mentioned to Gary a little bit within that. I gave you guys copies of next year's meetings through the whole schedule. We talked about preferred vendors and how much money they bring to us and who they are for next year. Let's see. That's pretty much the highlights of the thing, I believe. Oh, we had somebody there from Nationwide Retirement. We've had that guy in here once.
Yep.
And I gave you guys a copy of all the counties that participate in that, and how many dollars they have in it, and how long they've been in it. You know, I don't care what you do, but I think we ought to have some kind of retirement plan going for our guys within the county. You know, people that work for a salary, they don't have an ag income or farm connection, they can't live on Social Security when they get retirement age. They just can't. They gotta have something. They gotta contribute some for themselves. I remember when I first started out as superintendent, the old superintendent told me, put $10 a month in there, get started. That's the best advice he ever gave me. We need to get people doing that here. And Nationwide is one of the big providers. We talked about, Edward Jones. We need to get somebody going. And whether or not we put money into that for them, that's another thing. But they need to put some in for themselves.
Wasn't our, after we listened to it last year, wasn't someone gonna come and visit?
I thought,
From Nationwide, you...
No, I meant someone from, well, didn't Rick, I think it was Rick that made the comment that someone locally wanted to...
we talked to maybe Edward Jones could do the same thing, and they can. There's a lot of different providers. Nationwide just happens to be one of the big providers.
Right.
Nationwide makes their money not necessarily from the contributions, the fees they charge. Some counties don't even pay a fee. They let them in somehow or other, because that money they invest in, that's part of their income.
Right.
They swore up and down there they can do it cheaper than Jones, but a lot of people go with Jones too, so. We need to talk to somebody, I think, eventually, and get all the road workers, and I'm not talking about ourselves necessarily.
No, and that's what, you know, it's the same thing.
Be worth investigating anyway,
You
I
have to
think.
prepare, and
Yeah.
if you don't put a little bit away, it's too easy to
It
spend.
sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
It sneaks up on you.
I
So that
remember
was...
one day when I was in the 30s and thought I had all kinds of, now all of a sudden I'm creeping towards that big 6-0 and it's a little scary.
You bet. And Jamie and Lucas were there, and they went through all the things that they happened. We got legislative proposals for next year. They're basically the same for this year. I'll leave them right here, you guys can look at that if you want. There's something, mental health's all high in that.
Perfect.
That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you again for your time down there.
That was Thursday, Friday.
Okay, Wednesday is the mobile food truck. I left her about 20 to 6, I suppose. And they was on 100 then, I don't know how many more come in, but...
They had a few more roll through after that, but it was getting towards the end.
The 15th, I had a Board of Health meeting. We'd be looking for another position, or, I guess they gotta be in the medical field or dental field to go on the board. Dr. Dvorak will be leaving in January, I think. So, and I guess he sold his house already.
Yep, heard that the other
He
day.
moved out the 15th.
Yep, so, that's the only 2 meetings I had. And the Board of Health, they will be in after the first of the year when we start budget. They'll be looking for more money. Everybody's looking for
We
money.
all,
No official meeting last week.
I had, excuse me, the mobile food pantry on Wednesday. The numbers were 103 families, 268 individuals. You know, it still just blows my mind that in 5, I think it was just like 4,000 odd pounds of food in less than, from the time the door opened at 4:20 something to, 5:40, whatever time you left, it was probably 15 minutes after that.
Yep.
We had, I think there was 4 boxes, partial boxes, some milk, some eggs, a few canned goods, but that's roughly 4,000 pounds of food walked out the door. Just crazy to think that, you know, there's that kind of need, there's that kind of, but people just come out of the woodwork for, and I guess back to the theory of the red light, green light, we're still border. We have one more, is January 9th is our next. Then we have applied to hopefully, continue that. And Food Bank of Iowa will reassess our need, and then we'll know hopefully if next month, or next year is a go again, or if we've increased, because our goal is, we find a location that we can open 5 days a week, that we can continue to get more food through that aspect, but as we get more people, there's gonna be more food to distribute, so. We're making progress, we're still looking for that magic building that we haven't found yet, and I haven't heard any updates on the one that they were talking about, so that was my only meeting. So I guess we're...
I just might follow up a little bit on this, CSS thing. Last week, we talked about who you wanted to be a membership of that committee up there, and Rick, I thought, as we walked out the door, Rick said, "Why don't you talk to Sandy?" I thought consensus on that. If somebody else wants to do that, it's fine. I did go talk to her, and she's very interested in serving on that, if you wanted to.
I think,
But if somebody else wants to,
her ability
you don't have to do
in
it.
HR, she would probably have some,
She said she'd be happy to do it, but she didn't want to do it if somebody else wanted to be on there.
well, I've got a couple of boards I could pedal to her too,
Yeah.
I think she would be fine, and then to start off, you know, well, I'd like to think they're all important, but in all fairness, some of these boards carry more weight than others. This one is very important. I think she'd devote the correct amount of time and diligence to it, and I think it'd be good to start off with.
And approached by the daycare board, and wanted to know who was gonna be replacement there, and they asked if Sandy could be on that. So I told Sandy that if she wants to, unless you guys object, she'll go on the daycare board and the CSS stuff. You guys can do what you want, but if you don't want that, I can get that stopped real fast.
No, the only thing that, you know, and I looked at Facebook last night for the first time in a long time. There was 1 or 2 people, and it's kind of crazy because they were looking for in search of daycare, and there was like 6 comments, and I think 4 of them were kitty cat. So I just wondered if people, do they advertise on Facebook?
Yeah.
Because you would have thought that those people, when they pop that up, that they're looking for daycare, knowing that you told us that they're only half full, that would pop up.
What's happening there, most people are committed to the people they have now. You've been with Grandma for 6 years or 10 years, she's gonna drop out eventually, but they're willing to stay with her until they don't have it anymore, so that enrollment's gonna grow.
Grandma's always babysat it a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I didn't say that on, and don't print that, 'cause I don't want one of my kids.
You could have a lot of grandmas calling you.
Down Iowa Falls, and other communities, but they were the ones they mentioned specifically.
I went to the dentist last Wednesday, in, Tuesday, I guess it was, in Odebo, where I always go, and I took a tour of Correctionville Hill and Sioux City and back, and I stopped and had dinner with Harlan, Virginia, and Cherokee. Harlan's gonna come over here and visit this thing, because they're thinking about doing the same thing and building on their school over there. He wants to come see it. So someday he's gonna be here walking through.
Right. The other thing I did, you happen to look at your county emails and the reply from, Paul Anderson about DD 18?
Yes,
and
can I enlighten you on that?
I would like to be.
Glad you brought that up.
He goes to G, by the way.
Means we got a little time, and I don't think we need to go into drainage to discuss this.
I didn't make it this time.
So, this came from Jacobson Westergaard, because they have the data on that district, Drainage District 18, encompasses 10,752 acres. Well, it's very large.
It was
A lot of acres.
asked last week.
And, from start to finish, it has 14 feet of fall.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That was one of his questions.
Yes.
Get down to a 0.5%, it works, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, so whatever, you know, granted, we know that if you look on the map, it's a long ways from where it starts and happens to be Larry Trogger's field and where it ends at Prairie Creek. It does have fall, and we do have ongoing questions about that. We've got a drone flight, there again, talked to Jason, who sent me this information, forthcoming, and potentially this month yet, because he said, well, we'll see how the weather is, which not too bad and all that for that. You know, we saw most of it, but then we didn't see the lower part in the Prairie Creek and the beaver dam. So he says, we are doing that, and then you guys will see it. So I said, good. The sentiment, I think even from Mr. Anderson, is the outlet is probably as much of a culprit on this as anything. The fact that there's beaver dams and a few other obstructions, so. And also, I'm just gonna tell you that because of that, there is some other methods of getting rid of beaver dams that we may be exploring.
Dynamite?
Yep, seriously. But I'm
It
interested,
takes care of trapping.
well, I'm interested to see the footage, so we'll be seeing that here. I asked Jason, what do you, he said, I believe very soon. So we'll get that lower part, he says it's not very far. We saw most of it, obviously,
Right.
last week. So, the fall obviously seems to be adequate, but it's just like anything, you can have the greatest tile system, drainage system, anything, and if you put a plug in the end of it, you don't have much, so. But yeah, I think that it's okay, I'm glad that we're exploring it, and, hopefully we'll get some resolution to get it fixed. Better drainage in that ditch.
Awesome. Well,
stick or two.
Whatever it takes. Seriously, that's not facetious. I personally know a guy that, still has the permits to do that. And given the fact that it's kind of in a wilderness area, if you will, that might be, because, you know, you've gotta address the problem.
Yep.
You know, the talk was of the cleaning and stuff, and there's places, yes, it probably needs that, but till you remove the plug, you know, you're never gonna drain your bathtub till you get the drain unstopped.
so in other words, we are trying to get on the beaver hit list for Humboldt County. Will be the #1 county in the state that they wanna move out of.
Yes. We prefer that they get into and even past Wright County,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's all right.
But there's just,
Already in Wright County.
I know, we may have to deal with Wright County, but those guys appear to me that they love to blow stuff up, so I don't think it'll be much of an issue, but it'll just be something for the discussion, but yeah, talking to Jason, we're gonna get to see the footage, and we're gonna get to discuss it, and, you know, obviously, you know, all we talk about is drainage, but you can see the issue with the big drainage ditch system that's not working really up to par, and if you can address the issue and get it taken care of, I think we're on the right track. From the discussion last week and this information from Jason, I think we're on the right track.
Well, let's, can we just go to a recess and then we'll go in
Yep.
wait for Mike to get here at 10, and then when we get done with our meeting with him, we'll adjourn.
Mike's at his
from-
door, his head in the door while I'm
I have a question on
Yeah,
that.
but we aren't allowed to go, we're scheduled at 10 o'clock.
Do we need to, is that really technically a meeting topic then, being it's on the agenda with Mike? I guess it is, self-explanatory.
So we can go to recess, and then when Trish is in here, we don't have to bring Peggy back, we can recess, or we can adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, I think we're
Done.
good for this meeting.
So I'd look for a motion to go into recess till 10 o'clock meeting with the...
Motion to recess till then?
A motion
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, we're now in recess.